It is that time of the year. FIFA 22 is almost here. In the past few days, we have received so much information from EA about the additions and the changes to FIFA 22 career mode, and that has started to get the brain ticking over, thinking about who to start your first FIFA 22 career mode save with. So today, I'm going to be going through my top 10 teams to use in FIFA 22 career mode. We're going to be talking about teams from every part of the world, teams at the top of the footballing pyramid, teams at the bottom, all of whom are bound to make your FIFA 22 career mode experience a fun one. Also, if you guys want me to do a top 10 teams that need rebuilding in FIFA 22, make sure you show some love on this video. But without further ado, let's get into the top 10. These are in no particular order, but kicking off the countdown in number 1, we have Sutton United. Every year it feels as if there is a new team in League 2 that becomes the default Road to Glory side. Last year, we had Harrogate Town. The year before that, we had Salford. We've had Macclesfield. There's so many teams that come in every year that are just the go-to Road to Glory. This year, FIFA 22, I'm saying that team is Sutton United. It is Sutton United's first time ever in a FIFA title. It's their first time in League 2 as well. Their rise has been pretty decent as well. In 2019, when the season was suspended, like the 2019-20 season, they were 15th in the non-league, only to finish top of the National League in 2020-21. They're coming in with a bit of form behind them, but it is going to be an incredible challenge to get yourself up the English footballing pyramid and to champions the Premier League, champions of Europe, to make them the best team in the world. It is the dream candidate for a road to glory in FIFA 22. Also, from a personal standpoint, I kind of like them a little bit. They have Dean Bouzanis in between the sticks. I'm a Western Sydney Wanderers fan in the A-League. He played goalkeeper for us when we won an Asian Champions League. Obviously not Ante Kovic, but he was our reserve goalkeeper. To see him playing in League 2 football now is pretty wild. So for number 2, we are going from the bottom of the English footballing pyramid right to the top as we suggest Manchester United. Manchester United have a lot of hype around them this season. They have the signings of Jadon Sancho and potentially Raphael Varane. Not certain where that's going, but Raphael Varane looks like he's headed to Old Trafford at the time of recording. Their team is the perfect mix of youth and superstars. They've got players like Paul Pogba, like Jadon Sancho. You've even got players in there that have a bit of an arc in terms of trying to get their careers back on track, like Donny van de Beek. You've got Martial, who needs a bit of help. You've also got players like Marcus Rashford. It's a Harry Maguire, David De Gea. It's a gun team. But then there is so many quality young players in this Manchester United side. You've got Diallo, you've got Mason Greenwood, you've got Palestri. There are so many players, Brendan Williams even. So many players that have so much promise and potential around them. Can you harness them and develop them into proper Premier League superstars whilst also keeping Manchester United as a top club? For me, the big question is, can you catch Manchester City? They've signed Jack Grealish. They're in talks to sign Harry Kane. There's rumours about them signing Leo Messi. Man City are quickly climbing up as the best team in England. They've been the best team in England for quite some time now, and you need to try getting Manchester United back to those levels. They've had a few stable sort of years following the shit show that followed after Sir Alex Ferguson's departure, but now, can you take them over in FIFA 22 and make them the best team in Europe and England once again? Coming in at number 3, it is Borussia Dortmund, but it's not Borussia Dortmund with Marco Reus and all those players. It is Borussia Dortmund 2. Their youth academy side is featured in FIFA 22 this year after being promoted to the 3rd division of German football. In my opinion, this is one of the dream German road to glories this year. The storyline, the story arc is obvious. Can you make Dortmund's reserve side stronger than Dortmund's senior team? The roster for this team as well, naturally when you're using a youth academy side, is going to be so much fun as well. You've got a fun, young roster of Dortmund Youth Academy prospects, so you've already got a little bit of a leg up there. But again, can you harness these players' potentials? Can you help them climb into world-class superstars and help Dortmund's reserve team climb up the German footballing pyramid? The big question I have is, do you get to play at the Signal Iduna Park? I know that they play on that oval that you can see in the picture there next to the Signal Iduna Park, but it'd be a really nice touch if EA let us play at Signal Iduna Park when controlling Borussia Dortmund's second tier side, because the Signal Iduna Park is an absolute stunner of a stadium, but it's always better when you can have a road to glory save with a real stadium in the game. For the number 4 spot, we are headed across to the MLS, headed across to the United States as we are taking over Aston FC. Aston FC are the new boys in the MLS. They haven't exactly had a dream start to the MLS season, but it's still young over there. But can you take the new boys of the MLS right to the top of North American football? The cool part about Aston FC, not only are they in a trendy city in Austin, Texas, they are owned by the legendary, the GOAT himself, Matthew McConaughey. Just quietly, I know this isn't like a sponsored video or anything, but if you haven't read Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, it is an absolute must read. Legit finished it last week and it got me through lockdown so far here in Sydney. If I'm being fully honest, MLS saves are underrated. They don't get nearly enough love as they should. Obviously, you can't take the MLS and put it all into the UEFA Champions League isn't the goal when you're doing an MLS save or an Austin FC save. The goal, it should only be a 3, 4, 5 season sort of save to get them up the top of the American footballing pyramid. But there are so many stadiums from the MLS that are fully licensed and in FIFA 22, FIFA 21 especially. I honestly think Austin FC could be an underrated team to use in FIFA 22. Now, I must clarify because I don't have 100% of the information here, so I want to be straight with you guys. News is still waiting to be told whether Aston FC are going to be put into FIFA 22, but they are in the MLS. They are playing around right now, so I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be. We had Nashville, we had Houston, all those sort of teams added into FIFA last year when they were new teams, FC Cincinnati as well. So I see no reason why Austin FC won't be added into FIFA 22. But I just wanted to put that clarification out there. Just wanted to put that disclaimer if the game gets released and they aren't in there. But if they are, you should definitely be heading to the MLS, taking Austin FC, the new boys from the bottom to the top. Alright, alright, alright. So for number 5 in this countdown, the halfway mark, we are headed back to Europe. We are headed back to the Premier League, as I suggest you guys do a save with Aston Villa. Villa did have a pretty decent season in the Premier League last year, but can you replicate it? The big question mark around Aston Villa this year, of course, is the recent departure of Jack Grealish to Manchester City. They did get £100 million for him, so dependent on who they sign between now and when FIFA 22 is released, I would honestly say it could be a fun little idea there if you use the financial takeover aspect and give yourself £100 million to try signing Jack Grealish's replacement. Now, Villa have made some pretty exciting transfers so far in the transfer window. At the time of recording, the big 3, I would say, Buendia from Norwich City, Danny Ings, which that came out of nowhere. I knew Danny Ings was rumoured with a move away from Southampton, but Aston Villa was not the team I expected. Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins at the striker role is going to make for a top quality forward line, both in real life and in FIFA next year. Danny Ings is honestly one of the most underrated players in FIFA 21. If you saw my Southampton career mode save that I did on my second channel a few months ago, he broke the Premier League goal scoring record in the first season. He was just a god amongst men. But they've also signed Leon Bailey, the career mode weapon himself, the career mode wonder kid, the Jamaican left midfielder slash left winger, is signing from Bayer Leverkusen, I believe it is. So that is an exciting player to have on the left hand side of the midfield. Hopefully somebody in the comment section can confirm for me, was Leon Bailey paid for with the money that was acquired through the departure of Jack Grealish? Somebody let me know. But Aston Villa are shaping up to be an extremely fun side to use in FIFA 22 career mode. A super historic club. They play in a massive stadium in Villa Park. They deserve to get some respect and some success. Headed to number 6, we're headed to La Liga for the first time, and this is a little bit of a left field sort of suggestion, as I suggest doing a save with Osasuna. Osasuna are a mediocre club. There's nothing too wild about them. Their roster's not too crazy. There's not too many big name players in there. They seem to be a really challenging yet enjoyable save in FIFA 22. Their stadium has been added to FIFA for the first time. It's fresh off a renovation as well, so there's a sort of fresh feel about Osasuna as they move from previous eras into the modern day with a modern day stadium. Can you make them a modern day giant? Spanish football is in a very vulnerable position right now with the departure of Messi from Barcelona. Barcelona being in massive amounts of debt alongside Real Madrid. Spanish football is honestly crying out for a team like Osasuna to come in, get some success, and breathe new life into La Liga. Can you be the manager to get Osasuna to that level? So we're taking a trip now from Spain to France, and we are suggesting that you do a Lille save. Lille, of course, made massive headlines around the footballing world last year when they beat PSG to win the Ligue 1 title. Just when you thought Ligue 1 was the definition of a farmers league and that it was a monopoly with PSG being on top, Lille came and played an exciting brand of football and showed that it is not PSG's Ligue 1. But the big question is, can you replicate the success that Lille had in the previous season? Can you go back to back in Ligue 1? PSG have gone absolutely rabid on the signings here. They have signed Gini Wijnaldum, Hakimi, Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos. They're rumored with a move for Messi. They are clawing to get themselves back in the Ligue 1 title race and to send Lille down the pecking order. But can you show PSG that Lille are here to fight? Also, very exciting thing, you're obviously going to get Champions League football in the first season with Lille. So how you manage trying to hold off PSG whilst also trying to be competitive in the Champions League is going to be a massive, massive challenge. Lille are a very exciting prospect for FIFA 22. In at number 8, it pains me to say this is a Fulham side, but Brentford. Brentford are genuinely going to be a very enjoyable team to use in FIFA 22 career mode. Every year, as a FIFA fan, I love it when a team that hasn't been in the Premier League for a few years gets promoted into the Premier League, because it means one big thing: there's a new stadium in the game. Now, with Watford and Norwich being the other two sides promoted to the Premier League, they were already there a year ago, so their stadiums, Vicarage Road and Carrow Road, are already in FIFA 22, but the Brentford Community Stadium is the new addition into FIFA 22. The first time I went to London, it was 2 years ago. I remember I was driving from Heathrow down to the hotel I was staying in, and I drove past, I was on one of the big freeways heading into West London sort of, and I saw this what looked like a football ground being built, and I was like, I wonder whose stadium's that going to be. Didn't think too much about it. And then exactly 1 year later, I went back for another trip to London. Took that exact same road straight from Heathrow Airport traveling into London. And I realized, oh, this stadium's actually coming into something. Then I drove past further and realized it was Brentford Stadium. The thing about this stadium is that it is a cool stadium, but the seats look like Lego. But that's not going to matter, however, in FIFA 22, obviously, because there's going to be crowds in the stadium. But it is a new stadium added to FIFA 22. And the big question is, can you keep Brentford up? They have a very exciting squad. You've got players like Tony, who are absolute weapons, and I expect it's going to be a weapon here in FIFA 22. But can you keep the new boys into the Premier League up? Also, a challenge I'm putting to any of you guys that do a Brentford save: are you going to do the money ball approach? It's something they've been famous for. They've been very, very deliberate with the signings they make based on statistics. Can you keep the money ball approach kicking in the Premier League? Only 2 teams remain, and spoiler alert, none of them are going to be with Italy teams or Italian teams, because I think it's going to be blasphemous to do any Italian career modes in FIFA 22. EA and PES have killed the Italian league. They've lost another 2 teams. They've lost Lazio and Atalanta. That means there's 4 teams in Italy. 4 of the top teams in Italy aren't licensed in the game. Yeah, the Serie A is just in the mud, at least until modding comes into the game. But I digress. We are headed back to Germany for team number 9. We're not headed to the 3rd division. We are headed up to the top flight, as we are suggesting Union Berlin. Union Berlin did overachieve in the Bundesliga last season, and the big question is, can you take them further? Of course, Berlin being the capital city of Germany, I think the team in Berlin deserves to be a top-class team. I mean, Hertha, they were looking decent for a while there, but last year were extremely disappointing, almost got relegated. They play in the Olympiastadion. They are the big dogs of Berlin football, but Union Berlin are showing more promise at the moment. Kind of see their stadium in this picture here, but in FIFA, it is a sick stadium. I remember I was doing a player career mode, signed with Union Berlin. It is such a beautiful niche looking stadium there. I think the correct term is a boutique stadium, but Union Berlin could be mad fun to use. And finally, the 10th and final team that I suggest doing a career mode with in FIFA 22 is the create a club option. If you haven't seen the news, you can now create your own club in FIFA 22. And I think everybody should at least have a go at making their own club. I haven't put a league or a star rating because of the fact that you can have multiple criteria on what your club is looking like. You can have your team as a 1-star team based on youth academy and putting them in the bottom leagues. You can put them wherever you'd like. You can make them a middle range team. You can make them an absolutely loaded team with £100 million in transfer budget. There is endless possibilities on how you set up your team to begin with. Of course, you can make some changes to the stadiums. You can make your own kits. You can make your own badges. I still think EA haven't harnessed this to the full potential. I want it so that you can actually make, like, yeah, it's cool being able to set the seat colors and set the pitch patterns and the banners and all that stuff, but I want to be able to actually design my own stadium, like architecturally shape it to be whatever I want. I also think there needs to be the bonus of getting sponsors and all that jazz in there, which can be done, I'm sure will be done with mods in FIFA 22. So whilst I think this is a nice platform for EA to build on, there is definitely a lot of work to do with Create a Club, but I still suggest doing a Create a Club career mode in FIFA 22. So there we go, lads. That is my recommendations, my 10 top teams to use when starting a FIFA 22 career mode. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and make sure you do subscribe if you are new around here. We're grinding out the FIFA 21 content at the moment, and we'll be absolutely grinding out the FIFA 22 content when the game is released. Let me know in the comment section who you're going to be doing your first career mode with on FIFA 22. But it has been Jared HD here. I'm out. Peace.